Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. Rich is here today with another video about XRP as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. I have to start with this from the National Cryptocurrency Association before we discuss XRP. The majority of American cryptocurrency owners say that their daily lives, financial independence, opportunity, and creativity have all benefited from cryptocurrency actual advantages for real individuals. Do you know what cryptocurrency does? It makes you optimistic about the future. Additionally, there is no going back once you invest in cryptocurrency. Once you start purchasing stuff, you can't stop. It's an addiction I always claimed that eventually pays for itself, but in the end it provides you with financial independence. That's what makes cryptocurrency so fantastic. Your bank account does not equate to riches. The ice cube is melting. Keep in mind that ice melts quickly. Black Swan Capitalist is the source of that. You know, if you currently have money in a savings account and you never touch it, you simply let it sit there. Because the US dollar's purchasing power is declining daily, it will continue to lose value over time. The more time passes, the less a dollar can buy you. For this reason, cryptocurrency is a superior option than a bank account. The value of cryptocurrency will increase, at least eventually. Then Russia warns that the US is attempting to devalue the dollar and drive stablecoin adoption backed by US treasuries in order to take advantage of cryptocurrency users worldwide and eliminate its $35 trillion debt. Was the silent section said aloud by Russia, and I'm confident that every other nation notices this as well. If not Russia, however, do you recall Trump's statement that Bitcoin would be used to settle the debt? Listen to it. Who knows? Perhaps if we pay off our $35 trillion, we'll give them a small cryptocurrency check. We will give them a small amount of Bitcoin and spend our $35 trillion. However, how would you like it to gain more recognition in America? How is that going to work? It will be simple, I see. It's well known already. It's progressing. It has fairly lax regulations. That is among the factors contributing to its progress. However, it is a distinct type of currency that will ultimately help the nation. However, if we shut it down, it would be like Biden is attempting to do it, but he lacks the intelligence to do so. Imagine being told to shut down something like that by this guy. He doesn't even know what it is. It will be welcomed by others if we do not embrace it. It's already a huge deal, you know. Have you read any larger than words? You notice that they constantly try to convince you that if you don't buy all the Bitcoin, someone else will, and you won't be able to use it to pay off your debt. Rather, they want to use Bitcoin as collateral for the debt. As a result, everything happens simultaneously, resetting everything in a big way. Additionally, he mentioned transferring all debt to stable currencies. In 2024, Tether was the 7th largest purchaser of US treasuries. Today, a corporation with 150 employees owns more US debt than several states. Tether already owns a sizable portion of the US debt. Imagine that you are using debt to support something. After that, they depreciate the dollar, which lowers the debt's value and makes it unlikely that it will ever be repaid. They intend to reset everything. And for that reason, you should invest in something like XRP, because once they pay off all of their debt, if Tether were to fail, which is most likely what would happen, it would take Bitcoin with it, and the Phoenix's ascent follows. All I'm doing is thinking aloud. The source of this is Black Swan Capitalist, stated that stable coins are not the answer. They serve as a means of directing international investment into US debt, devaluing the dollar and exposing holders. XRP, a neutral bridge asset outside the debt system that offers liquidity and sovereignty, is important for this reason. Bitcoin and Tether will be linked to the loan. And when everything falls apart, they will suddenly use something like XRP to spread the new digital dollar globally, making it stronger. Additionally, since they would simultaneously be weakening the dollar, everyone with money at that time would see their holdings lose even more value. Suggestions for utilizing XRP to settle the US debt. Remember, we always believe that the US debt will be paid off with XRP. Accordingly, only 4 billion XRP would be required to pay off the whole national debt, or $10,000 XRP each XRP. It would cost about $9.6 billion to acquire this amount, currently at about $2.40 per XRP, offering exceptional leverage on investment. At the time, XRP was trading at $2.40. However, they claim that at $10,000 the debt could be paid off with just 4 billion XRP. Would that occur? There was always conversation about that. However, it currently appears that stable currency will be more important and eradicating the US debt. XRP would become the digital dollar mover after rising from the ashes. As I mentioned before, they are constantly attempting to convince you that the US must purchase all of the Bitcoin before someone else does. That other person doesn't exist though. China is indifferent. Bitcoin could hardly be more important to any of these other nations. Gold is what they are interested in. This graphic showed that central banks outpaced this trend. For the first time since 1996, central banks now own more gold than US treasuries. It is no accident that central banks have gone on an unprecedented gold buying binge. The reason for this is that they intend to utilize gold to support their currency. The United States will follow suit. Every nation will back its currency with gold or another metal, depending on the situation. It could be palladium, silver, or something else entirely. It makes no difference. When it comes to US dollars or any other currency in the globe, we're heading back to an asset-backed period, so they're going to back their currencies with something. China's Mbridge cross-border CBDC project is progressing, with cross-border payments being handled by Chinese institutions. State-owned banks began participating in July, and by August non-state and regional banks had joined, indicating notable advancements. Project Mbridge has always appealed to me, because it incorporates such liquidity pools. Recall that I have always stated that XRP becoming trapped in large liquidity pools is the way that scarcity develops. Link between blockchain-based SDR, MCBDC bridge platform, and Ripple. Using ISO 222 as the universal standard, liquidity pools on Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform can maintain the MCBDC bridge platform. For settlement, MCBDC Bridge used SDR to leverage CBDCs. The key to XRP's extremely high price is liquidity pools. That's what it boils down to, which is why I've been telling you that every white paper released by the BIS is based on-demand liquidity and RippleNet technology. The fact that the BRICS are using the same technology indicates that XRP will be used by the BRICS nations. Therefore, when Russia sends money to China, it passes via a liquidity pool that contains XRP. It will enter the Russian rupee ruble and exit as the desired digital format. Everybody is using XRP. As I mentioned earlier, every nation will require that intermediary layer of confidence while transferring funds between the BRICS. According to pundits, XRP's real potential is $100. If corporations embrace XRP and Ripple has a banking license, we already know that XRP will be adopted by corporations. Although the institutions are already en route, the Ripple banking license will be granted later. That is scheduled for early next year. Could you imagine how much more expensive XRP would become if Ripple were to obtain that banking license at the same time, say in January or February, where it is currently trading? Once that occurs, more and more people would be FOMOing in, thus it would undoubtedly take off. Additionally, an increasing number of organizations would be experiencing FOMO. I'm telling you that this is the present moment. Everyone is discussing an XRP of $50 or more. We may reach the 589 price point sooner than we anticipate, if you start to account for the catalyst. However, because that announcement from Russia is important, I decided to make this video and discuss it briefly. I believe they verbally explained the idea to you, and it in no way supports Bitcoin. Consider this: Tether already has that debt. Additionally, that debt loses all of its value as the dollar depreciates. Additionally, it will bring down Tether, which will effectively bring down Bitcoin. Additionally, by linking Tether to the loan, they are also linking Bitcoin to the debt. In any case, the ultimate goal here is the emergence of the Phoenix, which is XRP. After all of this, they will need a way to strengthen the dollar by using the world's bridge currency, XRP, to move it around the globe in a couple of seconds for less than a penny, even if they don't use it to pay off the debt. But until it all comes together, have patience, maintain your optimism, and let's make money together. I'm gonna end this video with that. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thank to all. In the next one, I'll see you. Enjoy your evening.